hand played. It looked like his muscled back, tensing against her as they intertwined and leaned on the brick of the shadowed part of the snack bar, his mouth on hers. That was the first ending that really, truly felt like one. The kind that filled more journals and left tear tracks on my cheeks. Smaller endings happened all the time, but they were the kind I couldn't really see until later. The footage from a research boat that disappeared after finding a shipwreck, footage that kept my dad up at his makeshift desk all night. Then, about a week later, the news confirmed the spread of a strange sickness. That night, Vanessa's nightmares started. That's the ending that started everything, really. When the crimson slipped across the planet like spilled wine and stained history forever. When the stories weren't whispers, but screams. When we couldn't ignore it anymore. When that ending, the real ending, reached my shore, it smelled like chalk and tasted like blood. Chapter 2. "This is the dumbest thing we've ever done," Dean says, his voice somewhere between a whisper and a hiss. My fingers grip the edges of the roof, the ceramic tiles burning the edges of my fingertips. I chance to look down, blinking against the reflection of the sunlight in the mirrors I keep tied on my wrists and the tops of my boots. Dean's dark hair is brushed back into a low bun, his brow furrowed with worry. He has a grip on my left foot holding me up. "You're forgetting that time we tried to give ourselves hickeys with the vacuum hose," I counter as my right foot finds the window ledge. I hoist myself up onto the edge of the museum's veranda. I tighten the straps of my backpack as I look back down at the amphitheater, pausing for a moment to sweep the area. Overturned tables and chairs lie still on the black tile, but other than the slight flutter of napkins and old brochures covered with Ramses II's face on them, there's no movement. We'd raided this place several times in the past 2 years and never had any problems. Turns out that people don't really have a lot of uses for history museums in the face of the actual apocalypse. Normally, we'd just walk right into the open front doors and go from there. But what we're looking for is in a locked room. So the window it is. A cool breeze gusts over from the ocean to my right, which toils just past the western edge of the PCH, Pacific Coast Highway. Dean eyes me. "Right, you're so right. This closely follows the vacuum hickey experiment. Which should tell you something, Charlotte, since that happened when I was 14. I twist a rope around the railing that circles the veranda, testing once to make sure it's secure before I throw it over the edge to Dean. Within seconds, he has hoisted himself up next to me. "Harlow will absolutely kill us both if she finds out I helped you with this," he says as we walk over to the sealed double doors. I slide my fingers over the edge, finding nothing. "Nah, I'm blood. You're just her boyfriend. She'll just maim me, but yeah, you'll for sure be dead." I wipe the grime off the glass of the window and peer inside. I can't see much, but there are no obvious threats, and that's as much reassurance as I'm going to get. Dean adjusts the mirrored bands on his forearms. "Sounds about right," he says, pulling the glass necklace from under his shirt and wiping it on his sleeve. I wind a scarf around my elbow and then take a deep breath as I turn around. With one quick movement, I shove my elbow back and the glass pane shatters. We both pause as the sound echoes off the hills around us. I grip the iron blade that rests in a sheath tied to my belt. I've only ever used it for cutting rope and the limbs of stubborn trees on food raids, but I know that any time we step out past the perimeter of the fortress, I might have to use it for something much darker. Dean pulls a mirror from his back pocket. Mirror is kind of a loose term. It's a shard of reflective glass, but he's wrapped the edges in black electrical tape. He holds it inside, tilting it to get a full sweep of the room. "We're good," he says, stepping inside. I follow. Wings flutter above us, and Dean and I duck. Birds leave their hiding place.